Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, I'm about to speak to you about time travel. We're all rushed off our feet on a day-to-day basis. Our lives are incredibly hectic nowadays. And this is all despite the new technology we have available. We may be able to send an email in the blink of an eye to the other side of the planet. We may be able to receive news from another continent on our smartphone in the palm of our hand. But none of this actually helps us to really save time, it would seem, because we are constantly telling each other that I don't have enough time for this, I can't fit this in my schedule, etc. And as human beings, we live in a world which is restricted by time, of course. It's also restricted by the other dimensions, such as length, width, well, not such as, but which are the three spatial dimensions, which are length, width, and depth. And of course, then the dimension which is the fourth, and that is time. Now we can very easily manipulate the first three of these, so we can move around quite easily in space. I can pick up my glasses here, I can throw them around, I can twist a piece of cable in my hand here, I can throw something, so I can manipulate space quite easily. But I can't really do the same for the fourth dimension, for time. Bending and twisting time is a great deal more difficult. Nevertheless, time and space do indeed exist as one. So any event that takes place in the universe has to involve both space and time together. And in fact, this means that it is indeed possible to manipulate time. And we can actually do this with the technology we already have available. We have satellites that orbit our planet at incredible speeds. They go so fast and they're at such a distance from our planet that time is actually warped for these objects. These satellites, many of them, move forward in time by an extra third of a billionth of a second every day. Now there are other parts of the universe where time passes at a different rate. For example, at the center of our galaxy, there is a supermassive black hole which concentrates the mass of 4 million suns in one single point. So you wouldn't really want to collide with it, you wouldn't want to go anywhere near it, but if you were able to go around its rim, if you were able to circle this black hole without falling in, of course, then time would pass for you at half the rate it passes on Earth. Therefore, it's clear that time travel is indeed possible, and with the rate of technological advances we have nowadays, maybe we will finally be able to use technology in order to save time. As a matter of fact, there are many great thinkers who have considered these questions long and hard, who have thought about whether time travel is possible and mulled over all of the possibilities. They've brought up questions such as, what would the limits for time travel be? Would we be able to move forward in time just a few seconds, move back a couple of minutes in time, or would we be able to travel forward a few years, maybe a few centuries, or go back a millennium or two? They've also thought about other questions, such as, would time travel have to be regulated in some form? Would we need some body, some authority to tell us rules for time travel so that we don't have people breaking the law? We might also have to impose some kind of principle so as to ensure that we don't have paradoxical situations occurring. Just imagine if someone were to go back in time to kill their own parents, for example. That would be a complete paradox. So time travel has been the work of many works of fiction as well. It's not just been scientists who have been thinking about it. The two first examples, or maybe the first three that come to mind, are a time travel or a series based on time travel, the British series Doctor Who. Then there are films such as Back to the Future and Terminator. And then there is a whole host of other works, literary works, on time travel. So I told you about the fact that we have philosophers and thinkers who are considering the consequences of time travel and what would need to be envisaged if it were possible. And they've also speculated about the possibilities of travelling through wormholes. Now, I won't go into the details there, but I read a few articles on it, and it was incredibly interesting to see the possibilities out there. Thinkers have also considered the possibility of us having people among us now, at this moment in time, who are actually from the future. These could be people who have actually managed to invent a time machine and who have come back to visit us out of curiosity. And a few researchers, a few academics have even gone further with their considerations and held a few events to try and attract time travellers. So there is, for example, a graduate student at MIT who decided to hold a convention for time travellers. This he did in May 2005. He hid the invitations for the event in time capsules so that the only people able to attend would be those from the distant future who would have dug up this time capsule and discovered the time and place of the event. These visitors from the future were asked to land their time machines on the volleyball court of MIT, which had been specially reserved for the occasion. Now, unfortunately, no time travellers turned up, so it wasn't much of a party. But talking of parties, another similar initiative was organised by Stephen Hawking, the well-known British physicist. In 2009, he held a party for time travellers, but he only sent out the invitations after the event. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, poor Stephen Hawking was left on his own in his living room sipping his orange juice alone. Nobody showed up. Then others looked for evidence of time travel on the internet. One group from the University of Michigan, for example, carried out a number of web searches in order to find out if time travelers had been using the internet. What they did is they took two search terms. Firstly, Comet Ison, and secondly, Pope Francis. Now, Comet Ison was discovered in September 2012, and as you know, Pope Francis was named on March 2013. So it would have been impossible for anyone to know about these names before these two dates. Without the comet having been discovered, how could we know what it was called? So the aim that these researchers had was to scour the web, look everywhere they could on the internet for any mention of Comet Ison before it was discovered, or any mention of Pope Francis before he announced his name. They trawled through data on Google, Facebook, Twitter, but sadly they found no proof whatsoever of time travel. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've had all manner of different initiatives related to time travel, works of fiction that have considered the possibilities, serious scientists, serious researchers, and all of these attempts to find time travellers have unfortunately so far been unsuccessful. So does this mean that time travel is impossible? Well, maybe not. It might just be that time travellers are not really interested in Pope Francis. They don't really give a damn about Comet Ison, and maybe they couldn't care less about attending geeky parties and conventions with academics. So, be it as it may, it seems that for the time being, we'll be forced to continue our futile daily struggle against the clock. Thank you.